Good evening and welcome to our second annual Spring Bling event. My name is Kim Lewis and I'm on the board of directors for the Neighbourhood Charitable Alliance. Back in 2012, a good friend of mine, Matt Isaacs, many of you know him as Matty, approached myself along with some friends and local business owners to see if we would be open to helping them run a golf tournament to raise some money for charity. Since that September 2012 event, the Neighbourhood Charitable Alliance has raised nearly $140,000 and has helped 85 local families and organizations in need. And we're just getting started. It is because of people like you supporting us at events like this that we are in turn able to support local families and organizations in need. As I reflect on the people and organizations that we have been fortunate enough to support over the last 4 years, I'm reminded that it could have just as easily been you or I that have had to deal with these situations. On behalf of our team, I would like to extend our sincerest appreciation for the support that you have provided our organization. Please sit back, relax, and allow us a moment to show you what we've been up to in 2015.
Since our golf event in September, which was our fourth annual golf event, we've implemented something new in January, which was a 24-hour basketball game called Hoopin' Around the Clock. We had a basketball game going 24 hours. It started on a Friday at 5 p.m. and went around the clock till Saturday at 5 p.m. It was a huge success. We had council members from the area. We had local businesses playing each other, kids from the area, the local public schools, high schools. We were able to raise a decent amount of money from that. Everyone enjoyed it. It's something that we're looking at doing annually now. Around the same time of year next year, December, January. Now we've got our second gala, so we're doing things around the calendar year now. We've got 3 events and they're all rolling nicely.
We strive very hard at St. John of Brebeuf School to create a very inclusive community. Unfortunately, around Christmas time, it's a little difficult for some of our families to provide those little extras that many of us take for granted. And that is disappointing to a lot of children. This year, we were very fortunate. The Neighbourhood Charitable Alliance came forward and offered to support some of our families at the holiday season. Through your efforts, 4 of our families were made to enjoy a Christmas that was a little bit brighter, not only from a gift standpoint, but from the fact of being part of an inclusive community that cares for one another. On behalf of all the Eagles family, we want to welcome you as part of our community and thank you for making Christmas just a little bit brighter.
My name is Christina Heinrichs. I have a son named Miles. He's 2 years old. About a year ago, he was showing red flags for autism. He was officially diagnosed in October, and everyone keeps telling me, specialists saying that for autistic kids, it's very important for them to be involved in IBI programming. It's very pricey, the programs for these, and there's also very long wait lists. But luckily, in December, a new school for IBI programming opened up in Windsor. They had openings right away, so there was no wait lists, and they were able to take Miles right away. The icing on the cake there was that we had to pay out of pocket. It was $40 an hour for about 30 hours a week, full time. Me and my husband did not know how we were going to be able to pay for his schooling, but we knew that we had to put him in right away. I would talk to one of my girlfriends, and she mentioned to me one day, she said, you should contact Neighbourhood Charitable Alliance. She gave me a brief rundown of them, and I didn't even know where to begin, except for I just looked them up on the internet, and I contacted Ian, and it was a little bit awkward to call them and basically tell them my story, even though they didn't even know who I was. And I asked them for help in any way they can. They were generous enough to give us $1,500 towards his schooling that helped pay for a good chunk of it in the beginning to help us. He's been doing awesome. Miles, he's been in for a couple of months now, and he's actually pointing at objects. He's requesting. pointing at food that he wants. And if anybody knows anyone with autism, autistic kids pointing is a huge thing. He's using words for requesting mama, dada, up when he wants to jump up. And it's just going to get better and better as the months go on. And I can't thank Neighbourhood Charitable Alliance enough for helping us out when we really needed it.
I moved to town back in 2010, not originally from Kingsville. And I got invited out to the very first event, which was a golf event, where Maddie Isaacs had put in this unbelievable golf event, and my wife and I went out to the pavilion and we had an absolute blast, and we got to learn a lot more about what the Neighbourhood Charitable Alliance does. And I remember when we originally moved to town, I was looking for something like this. I was looking for a chance to be able to make an actual difference in the community, a chance to try to help out people in the community. And when Maddie approached me and said, do you want to be part of this? I said, yeah, absolutely, because this is incredible. I just think it's such a beautiful thing that you have these people around town that have so much pride and care so much about their neighbors and their people around them that they're willing to go around and collect money and put on these incredible events and spend time away from their families, at night doing a lot of these meetings, and just all in the way to try to make a difference.
My name is Michelle Bossy, and I am from Kingsville. I've been lived in Kingsville my entire life. I was diagnosed with breast cancer in September 2014. It was actually the 23rd of September. I'll never forget it. I was at work. I clean houses for a living, and I got a call from my doctor's office asking if I could come in and see her, which was pretty unusual. But I'd had a biopsy done, and I thought everything was going to be okay. I kind of put it in the back of my head and was trying not to think about it as best as I could. And I said, okay, well, I have to finish work and I have to pick up my son at school. I'll be there in an hour, 2 hours. And she said, well, we need you to come right away. So I knew. I went in and she basically said, it's not good. It's breast cancer. You're in second stage. And we got to take care of this. I'm a single mom. I have 2 kids, 2 sons, one with special needs and another with special needs also of a different sort, mental illness needs. So it was very, very scary. And being self-employed, you do not get sick benefits. You do not get disability of any kind. There is nothing. And at 45 years old, I thought, what am I going to do? Immediately, I had surgery for a mastectomy. And from there, it was just a blur. I started to have friends ask me, are you okay? And I would say, yeah, I'm great. I'm great. But you're not great, because the stresses of worrying about money as a single mom was huge. I had car payments, I had kids. It's just, you're so focused on fighting. It's just crazy. I got a knock at the door from my other friend, and she had a check in her hand. And it couldn't have come at a better time. I think I probably bawled for a good half hour. And we hugged and I cried, and we hugged and I cried. And because of the donation I received, I was able to do a couple of things. One was have a wonderful Christmas with my kids, which they deserved. 2 was the stress, the financial stress was off of me for a while. I could worry about chemo, taking care of myself, and my kids. Kim Lewis called me and asked me if I would be a part of this, and I said yes, because people need this, not just for cancer, but You know, crappy things happen to really good people in our town, and sometimes we need help, and I needed help, and I thank whoever is responsible for that. Thank you.
Well, I was at an event last year and was really moved by listening to some of the presentations of the individuals that did receive help. And I just really thought, like, what a great charity that just helps their neighbors out and keeping the money local, which was really appealing to me. And I actually reached out and just thought, you know what, I'd love to be part of this if there's room. And so I'm really happy to contribute and participate in Spring Bling, and really excited to see where this committee goes in the future, because I think they're going to do great things.
My name is Lorraine Goddard, and I'm the CEO for United Way Windsor, Essex County. And in our community, 1 in 5 people are living in poverty, and 1 in 4 children are growing up in poverty. And the Neighbourhood Charitable Alliance is supporting a student in our On Track to Success program, which is run in the town of Leamington. The On Track to Success program identifies children who are growing up in low-income families, and we provide support from grade 8 right through their high school years and help them to graduate high school, move on to a post-secondary program, whether it's the trades, college, university, so that they can have a career in a job that will pay them a living wage and be able to be self-sufficient and escape poverty as adults. We're very grateful for their support. It is these kinds of initiatives that are really going to help us tackle intergenerational poverty in our community. Thank you so much for your support.